I'm Papa Kenn, and welcome to a brand new episode of Discovering Doctor Who. Today I'm going to be talking about the episode School Reunion, which introduces, or well, for new people, introduces the character Sarah Jane Smith into the fold, who is portrayed by Elisabeth Sladen, I believe is the way to pronounce her name. But essentially, for those of you that don't know, the core of the story is weird stuff is going on back in Rose's present time, and Mickey calls them back somehow, and basically the Doctor and Rose go in to investigate to find out what the issue is, and Sarah Jane Smith, one of the Doctor's old companions, happens to come in and participate in the investigations. But let's get, again, like in the previous episode, I actually started doing this on my Discovering Breaking Bad series. At the end, I'm going to give sort of a synopsis of what I think of this entire episode. But to begin with, let's get into my favorite moments, or really, I guess it would be my favorite parts of this episode. And the first, one of my favorite parts of this episode is just the Doctor being a teacher. Every aspect of him being a teacher in this episode was hilarious and great. First of all, him just walking in and being like introducing himself to the class was funny. It was just like unexpected, and then he just goes physics, and just goes on like that for a little bit. It was weird but really funny. And one thing I found interesting is how he actually got the job. He got rid of the previous teacher in his position by, I assume it was him anyway, by giving them a winning lottery ticket. So that was really weird, but I really liked the fact that he was playing the teacher and just all the stuff that the episode played off of him being in that role. The second favorite part about this episode was a very intense one. It was every time the kids that were being brainwashed in this episode were at the computers working on this alien code, which we later find out is it's like a god code, or it basically unlocks the possibilities of accessing all matter, time, and space. Basically, some real end of the universe stuff. And just every time it shows that, like, the music is so intense. And as a programmer, I know how friggin' monotonous it can be to sit in front of a computer and code the whole time. So it was just like a little bit extra, just like, yeah, for me. Because I can't imagine just sitting there and just like staring blankly into a computer and just being constantly just going at it like that. I know some people that probably could be that way, just normally, but for me, it was just really intense, and I really liked that part of the episode, or several parts of the episode. And my third favorite part of this episode was Sarah Jane Smith, as I mentioned before. She is a previous companion of the third, fourth, and fifth Doctors, and I just really like her character overall, and the way that they introduced her, got a good amount of backstory. The minimum amount is like, okay, she was a former companion of the Doctor, and also, he left her behind at some point. At some point, I'm probably going to go back and watch the classic episodes and see what happened there as far as the episodes go, but just the way that they played out all of that, and the way with the Doctor, and especially with Rose, my God, there was so much. Rose is instantly jealous with this strange woman coming in, and I love the way those two characters, most of all, played off of each other, Sarah Jane Smith and Rose. It was a really good dynamic, and I really, really liked that. So Sarah Jane Smith, awesome part of this episode. My fourth favorite thing is, this one actually is a moment. It is the conversation between Finch, the new headmaster of the school, and the Doctor. That segment right there, where they're talking to each other, just the back and forth at the pool, really reminded me of the back and forth between the Ninth Doctor and the Dalek. Just the back and forth, just only this time there's you can tell that without them really getting all aggressive, there's there's a lot of that testosterone going on. It's sizing each other up. It was really good. I really liked that segment. And Finch, the guy that played Finch, is a really good bad guy. He portrays a very good, powerful bad guy. I was very surprised by that. He did a really, really good job. Now, my fifth and final favorite part about this episode is K9. I love K9. He is adorable. That voice is like, it's kind of weird at first, but then it just becomes adorable. Especially every time he would say affirmative, like, affirmative. I love this dog. And then all of a sudden, like, all of them are surrounded by these flying bat people. And in comes K9 and starts blasting these things away. Now, it's not the best graphics in the world, but that didn't matter. Because it's just all of a sudden, one of these bat people that's like trying to eat them, like gets shot with a laser. I'm just like, yes! K9, you are awesome! And... and he sacrifices himself. He sacrifices himself to save everyone. And I was so sad. And again, it's like, the adorable voice, when the doctor knows that, the K9 is offering to sacrifice himself. The doctor says, you're a good dog. And K9 says, affirmative. And then, immediately after the Finch, when he gets blasted with this acid chemical stuff, basically that's stuff that's poisonous to the bat people, he goes, bad dog. Affirmative. That part of the episode was just great. Now, I really love the K9 character. And the fact that the Doctor makes a Mark IV, because this K9 was Mark III, but the fact that they give her a Mark IV really gives me hope that we're going to get to see him again. And, obviously, hopefully, Sarah Jane Smith in future episodes as well. Now, to get into my favorite quote of this episode, there were two of them that I really, really liked. One is basically a runner-up, and that one is, it was just a really funny moment near the beginning of the episode. The Doctor says, one of the kids responds and gives him an answer, and he says, correctamundo, a word I have never used before and will hopefully never will again. This is the way he delivers that, the way he says that, it's just perfect, and it cracked me up at the time. Now, my favorite quote of this episode was much deeper. It was much deeper, more heartfelt and meaningful because of the fact that Rose knows now that the Doctor had left Sarah Jane behind in the past. She has to know, are you going to do that to me too? And the Doctor just looks at her, looks her right in the eye very seriously and says, you can spend the rest of your life with me, but I can't spend the rest of mine with you. I have to live on, alone. That's the curse of the Time Lords. And, and it makes total sense, and it's really reminiscent of the little monologue that the Ninth Doctor gave Rose in the first episode, just in a different way. And it just really, I don't know, it filled me with a little bit of dread because I know that Rose isn't going to be there later. I don't know why. I don't know if she dies or what happens, but it's just when he said that, it filled me with a bit of dread as far as the future of, Rose's future goes with him. But getting beyond that, that was my favorite quote. And as with any episode, there are going to be some little issues. I'm not going to rag on the graphics because I've already said I would lay off of that. But the one problem with this episode that really bothered me, it's just I couldn't let it go, is the fact that when all four of them, Mickey, Rose, the Doctor, and Sarah Jane, are going to, I think it's Sarah Jane's car, one of the bat creatures, I can't remember, I didn't write down what they're called, I'm sorry, I'll put the alien name here, but all of a sudden it goes up into the air and is flying and screeching, and it's within viewing distance of them. And I cannot stretch my imagination or my disbelief enough to believe that they could not hear it. It's screeching really loud. It's a bat person. You couldn't tell me that they didn't at least see or hear that thing at some point. That just, I know it's a nitpick really, but it really annoyed me, and it's just, it really bothered me. But to get into my synopsis of this episode overall, I really liked it. I know that there were some commenters on the previous episode that had mentioned this one, saying that I think at least one person said it's either their favorite episode or one of their favorite episodes. And I can see that if you have seen the classic episodes, if you have a real connection with Sarah Jane Smith. The thing about it is as much as I like her character, I don't have a connection with her because I don't have a connection with any of the Doctors before number 9. This is literally my first way through the show, as you know. So don't know. I'm just like I said, I really did like this episode, but I don't have that much of a connection with the character, or even K9. As much as I love him, I don't have that connection, so I can't really say that it's one of my favorite episodes. It's a really good one, and I really liked it. It may be one of my favorite episodes of the season. I mean, I'm only 3 or 4, I guess technically 5 if you include the minisode. I'm only a few episodes in so far, but I would say that it's probably one of the best episodes this season so far. But again, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but that is not to take away from anyone that absolutely loves this episode, and again, especially if they have that connection with the previous Doctors, or the classic Doctors. Now, everyone, thank you very much for watching this episode. I apologize for the delay. I've been really busy, and I was also sick last week, but I'm going to do my best to get onto a consistent schedule with this again. To give myself some time, I'm going to aim for posting these episodes, even though this one's going up on a Saturday, I'm going to aim for getting them up on Thursdays, just to give myself a little bit of a gap in between discovering Breaking Bad and discovering Doctor Who. And again, if I can get more episodes made, I will post them more often if I can, but you know, it's just professional life, full-time job. There's only so much I can do. But again, thank you all very much for watching this. I appreciate all of your support and all of the comments you leave. Please, if, you know, as usual, if there are any things about this episode that you found to be particularly interesting, or were your favorite parts of the episode, or if you have another quote from any of the characters in this episode that you would consider your favorite or the best of this episode, let me know. Leave it in the comments or contact me in some way. I really appreciate all of the interaction I've been getting with the fans of Doctor Who, and, you know, hopefully fans of this series as well. I really enjoy talking with you all, and I look forward to getting into it more. Oh, and actually, just one thing I remembered, really awkward at the end, with Mickey deciding to go along with the Doctor and Rose, because there was this very, like, when Mickey asked if he could go along, there's just, it's very subtle, but you can see Rose's eyes like dart over to the Doctor, and she mouths no. And I actually saw the episode twice. I didn't see it that first time, but the second time I saw it, I was just like, ooh, how's this gonna go? So I'm really interested to see how that develops in the next episode, or however many episodes Mickey is with them. Because I really like the character Mickey. He didn't do much this episode, but overall I really like him, especially compared to when I first started watching the show. So I'm really interested to see how that develops, and everyone, I'll just end it there. I will see you all next time on the next Discovering Doctor Who.